Hey gamers, Blindy here. It's August 2025, and I just finished playing the beloved Hollow Knight. In a way, this is to prepare for the upcoming Hollow Knight Silksong, but on the other hand, I'm not getting my hopes up for that game to be released. I'll play it at some point, but gamers have been waiting forever for Silksong, and at the time of this recording, they still are. This is a game that has been sitting in my backlog for a while. I finally got around to it, and, well, I have some thoughts. There's a lot to go over, but first we'll cover some details before we talk about the in-game stuff. So, like I mentioned, the sequel has been in the works for a while. I think it was first announced in 2019, so we're looking at more than 6 years in development. This game, the original Hollow Knight, was released on February 24th, 2017. And it was in development for less than 4 years, as it began as a Ludum Dare project in 2013. For those of you unfamiliar, Ludum Dare is a game jam competition where contestants try to make a game in just a couple of days that fits within certain parameters. Celeste was born from a similar competition, if you're a fan of that game. Team Cherry originally released Hollow Knight for Windows, then later expanded to Linux, Mac OS, the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I played the Windows version on my LCD Steam Deck, and you can get this game pretty cheap if you're wanting to play this. It's just less than $20 Canadian for the standard price, but you can catch it 50% off from time to time, so for less than $10 you can have Hollow Knight sit in your backlog as well. You won't need a ton of space to install this game. It's recommended that you have up to 9 gigs of space available, and my install was just short of 7.5. This is my first time playing this game, and there aren't any difficulty options to choose from, at least not to start. After you finish the game, you have the choice to make things more difficult for yourself by playing a hardcore mode where deaths end the game. Cool option. I'll never play it. If you're curious how this plays on the Steam Deck, it plays mostly really well. It's a verified title, and I had no issues running the game. The controls worked well, everything looked good with no issues with reading text, and buttons were mapped correctly. The biggest problem I had, though, was that I was barely able to get 1 hour of gameplay per charge, which is really, really low. I don't think I have another game in my library that I've played so far that had such a low battery life. That said, maybe there were some options I could have tinkered around with. But if you're planning to play this on your Steam Deck, don't expect great battery life out of this game. So, many people love this game, and the reviews definitely reflect that. Metacritic rates between the high 80s and 90, and Steam reviews are at an impressive 97% approval rating with 383,000 reviews. If you're concerned about kids playing this game, don't be. The ESRB rating for Hollow Knight is E10+, which stands for Everyone 10+, with the only considerations being fantasy violence and mild blood. Even then, I'm thinking 10+ is a bit high. Most kids can handle this game with no issue at all, in my opinion, of course. Now, if you played any metroidvania before, you may find this game is a bit of an outlier in the time to play. My previous experiences lead me to believe that most other metroidvanias clock in at about 10 hours or so, but Hollow Knight averages around 27 hours, according to How Long to Beat, with my run taking about 31 hours. This game is way longer than other games, so if you're playing this, you're in for a bit of a long ride. And there we go. We discussed all the things outside of the game. From here on out, I'll be discussing things within the game itself. I'll be talking about the story, gameplay, and general thoughts on some aspects of the game, so if you wish to avoid spoilers, now may be the time to bail on the rest of this video. I'll do my best not to show spoilers, but I won't guarantee anything. This is your warning. Spoilers may be ahead. You play the game as a nameless insectoid and start off approaching the world of Hollow Nest, a subterranean world of a formerly thriving community. But that's not what this world is like now. In Dirtmouth, the little town at the surface, several buildings exist, but most of them are empty. Then you venture down into the underworld and start to experience some of the changes the world has undergone. Creatures wander around and a mysterious infection has taken hold. A lot of unknowns are ahead of you, and there are around a dozen areas worth exploring before you approach the end of the game. and you, as a nail-wielding stranger, have been given the task to solve the mysteries of this dark underworld. Ultimately, you need to defeat the 3 dreamers to be able to take on the final challenge, but there are many other challenging bosses to fight in between. As a random thought, I'm not sure if Hollow in Hollow Knight and Hallow in Hallow Nest are connected in concept. It feels like Hallow Nest should probably be Hollow Nest, but what do I know? Hollow Knight is a metroidvania, which, for those of you unfamiliar, is a platformer that requires the player to revisit many places once new skills open up previously blocked areas. You gain new weapons, gain abilities like double jumping, and other things like that that allow you to reach places that were previously unreachable. One thing you'll notice about this game is that it is really pretty. The visual design is pretty good, even in its simplicity. But part of the reason it looks cool is part of the reason that it can be difficult to play. This game has various levels of visual depth, so things are moving in the foreground and background. Really nice. Except that at times the foreground is so full of stuff that it blocks your vision for whatever may be in front of you. Some enemies hug the ground, and you might not see one. There might be a gap in the floor in front of you. It looks cool, but it can be a bit too much at times. And if you're not paying attention, you might get caught off guard by an enemy moving in from the background. Fortunately, this doesn't happen often, but you're not conditioned to it, so you never expect an enemy to approach you from anywhere except the edge of the screen. So keep your eyes open. I mentioned that this game will take some time to complete, and the biggest reason for that is that this map is the largest of any Metroidvania that I had ever seen. On the surface, you might think that's a great thing, but if you know the structure of a Metroidvania, you'll understand that at the end of the game, you're bouncing around different areas of the map trying to find the last few things you need to move forward. It can lead to hours of wandering around if you're not sure where to go. And it's not like there's any kind of guide in the game to help you stay focused. And if you put the game down for any extended period of time, you're going to be completely lost for a while. I had gotten lost on multiple occasions because the map was incomplete enough that I had dozens of places I could check out. And even in places that I thought I could progress in, I was unable to move forward for one reason or another. Now, if you like to get lost in a world and try to find every little thing, you'll probably love the exploration in this game. There are places everywhere that open up as you get further into the game, so there's a lot to find if you're looking to pursue a more completionist type of run. And in the mid-game, you'll find enemies can get quite difficult in some areas, but by the time the game is wrapping up, they're pretty easy to dispatch. Fortunately, with such a large map, this game provides decent fast travel options. One is the use of the stag. He's a giant stag beetle that can give you a lift to any station that you've previously discovered. Pretty simple and straightforward. There are also tramways, which provide a bit of horizontal transportation to set locations. While traveling by tram is way less flexible, you do get a bench to rest on. Benches are a place to heal and save, so they're all quite convenient if you come across one. As for more travel options, there are also lifts. Not really a fast travel option per se, it allows you to traverse vertically between areas. I say that it's not really a fast travel option because you're not really skipping anything. It's like going from one screen to another, only instead of walking, you're using an elevator. So as you visit new areas, you have a chance to get a map for that location. In some regions, you could buy a map in Dirtmouth, but in most other areas, you need to find Cornifer, the explorer and map maker in the game. But sometimes it could be a pain trying to find him. He's somewhere in the new region, and you can hear him if you get close enough, but sometimes you'll travel long distances without coming across him. So hopefully your memory is good. That said, the maps won't help you to know where to go. If you get confused which way your next objective is, you could be wandering around for a while. The enemy designs are generally really cool. They vary in difficulty from ridiculously easy to being stupidly challenging. The worst is probably the flying bugs that shoot crystals. You're jumping between small platforms that are precarious enough as they are, but these little jerks keep shooting shards of crystals at you while you're going across the gaps. And when they land, the shards explode into large crystal structures that damage you if you touch them. And if you hit the spikes, you get tossed back into the air like you're playing Castlevania, which inevitably sends you into the floor spikes, because of course. And those stupid spikes take quite a while to disappear. At least the combat is quite good. The attack animations, damage dealt, attack range, and all that, it felt solid, especially once your brain is wired to play this game. You can attack up and down with a jump, so you have the flexibility to attack enemies all around you. You also get various special skills that can cause damage, but I rarely use them. Let me know if I'm the weirdo, or if you guys generally just swing your nail around as well. Most of the other enemies are pretty manageable once you've got the patterns figured out and you're not swarmed. As you're exploring, you'll come across several shops. You gain access to weapons, charms, a bank, and so on. Cool and all, but they stay wherever you found them. So if you want to visit the bank, you're trekking deep into the underground to deposit your geo. Or if you're desperate, withdraw your geo. Then you have to find the shop you want to visit, wherever that may be. And if all goes well, you didn't miscalculate how many geo you needed on hand. I deposited the max amount of geo into the bank and never once withdrew any out. I had so much by the end of the game that it was getting to be something that I ignored rather than diligently picking each one up. In the game, if you die, there is a recovery system built in place. After death, you revive back at the last bench you visited. You're unable to gather as much soul, but if you reach the point where you died, a ghostly form of your body appears. If you kill it, you'll gain all your geo back, as well as be able to fully refill your soul once again. Charms were a cool concept that felt more frustrating than I expected. Charms are augments that you can find or buy. There are dozens of them, and they can all be helpful, but you can only tack on a few at a time, and sometimes not even that much. I have no idea how effective most of them were because I found a few that I liked and ignored the rest. You can get your hands on some more slots to expand how many you can equip at a time, but I didn't find that it helped a whole lot. I like the music in this game, but I don't think I found them all that memorable. The songs all fit the atmosphere amazingly, and they really brought out the appropriate emotion in any given region, but not much of it was all that memorable to me. Maybe I'm unusual in that. Let me know if I'm wrong about the music and that I should give the soundtrack a listen. One more comment about the length of the game. I worry that it's a bit too long. Because Metroidvanias have you going back and forth a lot, you do a lot of traveling through areas you've already explored over and over again. It feels like wasted time. In Hollow Knight, you can heal yourself by holding the B button on the Steam Deck, but that uses some of your souls. So to regain more souls, you need to swing your nail and hit enemies. And if you watch my other reviews, you might know that my last review had a similar system. In Fountains, attacking enemies with your sword provides you with, in that case, water, which you could use to heal yourself. So if your health is low, keep swinging. And one last thing before we wrap things up. This game allows you to look up or down so that you can see things like platforms that may be just out of view. It's a really minor detail, but it's the minor details that show that the developers really care about all the little aspects of the gameplay in their game. And I appreciate it. So these are just some of my general thoughts on Hollow Knight. But do I recommend it? I feel like I was a bit critical, but yeah, I do recommend it. It's easy to play, it's not very hard, it has a lot to do in the game, it looks cool, it plays smoothly, and all that. It's not perfect, but it's quite fun to play. I often put in a couple hours at a time, and if I recall correctly, even 1 3-hour session. You can get pretty sucked in if you're really in the mood. But it's not perfect. I would have loved to see some better battery life for my Steam Deck. A bit more guidance would have been nice too, but I can't complain too much. And this game is quite replayable. There's quite a bit that I missed in my playthrough, so if I really wanted to, I could go back and look for all the things that I missed. And there are multiple endings, so that could be something worth challenging if you want to tackle multiple runs. And if you're really feeling frisky, you can either try to speedrun the game or try a Steel Soul run, the aforementioned mode that gives you only one life. So that all being said, I'm going to score this game a 9 out of 11, 82%. To be honest, I was thinking it was a 9 out of 12, but I think I enjoyed the game more than that. But the things I don't like stood out to me quite a bit. I don't think I'll ever play it again, but I could see why so many people love it. And I could see why people are so excited for Silksong. I am too, but I'm not foaming at the mouth in anticipation. Alright, before we go our separate ways today, here's a brief look at the final boss fight. So I covered a lot, but I didn't cover everything. Let me know, was I fair? Was I wrong? Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Larger channels tend to show off their amazing Patreon pages here, but I don't have one, so I'll just say that if you want to chat with me, join me on Discord. I love to hear other people's thoughts. And if there's a game you want me to cover, let me know. Maybe it could be something I can consider for a returning viewer. So if you liked this video, hit that like button. If you didn't like the video, hit that like button. And if you loved the video, consider subscribing. That would mean so much to me. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and you could be part of that. Thank you to each and every one of you that watched this video today. Without you, I'm just a weirdo talking into a microphone. Take care, and have a wonderful day.